starting on a trip. My bike is loaded and it's definitely harder to use. And what I'm doing is I'm starting out in National Harbor and I'm going hopefully to Cumberland, Maryland, which is 188 miles away. The Woodrow Wilson Bridge. Jones Point is one of my favorite parks in the entire area. The rack has come off this bottom part right here. I'm actually going to take some zip ties and do this. Really beautiful. This is definitely my favorite. And if you go through here, this little gravel section, this is very similar to the C&O, but it crosses into Maryland, DC, and Virginia because it's at the very tip of that diamond. Old Town, Alexandria. Here's Ronald Reagan Airport. All right, we are in Roslyn, Virginia. Such a good view here. Georgetown also represents the beginning of the C&O Canal. If you follow this path, it goes all the way into Cumberland. And from Cumberland, you can take the Great Allegheny Trail. Never been on that. So this is what I expected the C&O to be extremely dirty or wet from the rain. There is another alternative to the towpath until a little bit further, maybe 4 miles. It's to the left, and that's the Capitol Press Trail. Man, getting my feet wet, that's something I don't want to get. We're going to see plenty of cyclists. Today is fairly nice. It is warming up. It's become very popular of late because of gravel bikes. To the left, that paved path is the Capitol Crescent Trail. You're still seeing lots of helicopters. For these type of rides, you have to bring food, and you're a lot slower because you're carrying a lot of weight. Notice the sign here: deadly undertow below dam. This is right outside of Georgetown, and you can see that there's been several people that have died here. And you often hear it after a major holiday. People come to the water and they don't realize how strong these currents are. We have done about 19 miles, but not on the C&O, you know, because I rode from my house, so, and that's at the National Harbor. So this is going to be it. You know, if you like music and listening to podcasts, you can definitely bring something along the C&O Canal and listen to it. What's happening here? Looks like they're cutting something. What are they doing?
There's a big tree down over the trail and they're trying to move it.
Oh, man.
They were going to walk over it. It was like too big to try to pick it up and move it, so now
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, good luck getting to Kansas City.
Yeah.
See you, man. Pretty big storms, enough that they had to cut the tree down and we had to wait. Strangely enough, that was the path around and I never realized it. So next time, don't just wait. But that couple is taking the C&O to the Great Allegheny to Kansas City. That's right, they're riding their really cool gravel bikes. You know, I really like these bikes. Disc brakes, you can run really wide tires. And I might have to get one of those. Seems like that's what everybody's getting. We're about to cross over, I believe, the Beltway here. This is what underneath the Beltway looks like. Just past the Billy Goat Trail. That's a very popular hiking trail for the DC people, the DC elite to come here. On the weekends, this particular section near Great Falls is packed. Billy Goat Trail. Really awesome. Right here, the C&O is really wide. This is a pretty good view of the Great Falls. Great Falls Travel Visitor Center. I bet they have bathrooms here. So this is near Potomac, and you can tell that they recently repaved this part. It's a whole lot rougher riding with deer. Like, the amount of weight you have to carry wears you out. And top tip, this is something I regret right away, is that don't wear a book bag. I have a very light book bag where I have some tools and stuff and my water. Don't wear it. Just put everything on the bike if you can. I know it's a little bit hard to see with the trees, but directly across the river, that is, I believe, the Trump golf course. There's been quite a few of these down. In case you're wondering, this is how you pump water at the C&O Canal. Pump this, fetch the water here. There's a little bit of a taste to it, but you know, when you're super thirsty, you'll drink anything. In general, well water is clean and able to be used without additional treatment. However, you are advised to boil or treat the water before you use it. Screw that. Taking a little break, ate some peanuts, but I know that as soon as I get on the bike, I'm gonna feel it. I've done 40 miles so far, and I'm pretty close to Point of Rocks. So I think at Point of Rocks, I'm gonna take another break, and I'm gonna go see if I can get something to eat. What you do after a while, you just get tired. The one thing I have to do is eat, you know, bring plenty of food and eat along, because you have no idea how much riding consistently just zaps your energy. Like, anybody can ride for like an hour, maybe 2 hours, but if you don't eat, it's like you run out of fuel. So I'm already feeling a little bit out of fuel, because 40 miles, I can do 40 miles on a road bicycle, but when you're loaded up and you're riding in gravel or even crushed gravel, it zaps your energy. Another thing to keep in mind for future rides on these type of paths, bike packing type of things, get some nice, comfortable handlebars. These bars are not good. They're very narrow, limited position. They're good for commuting, but I ordered some trekking handlebars. They have not come yet. So we'll see. I might turn around at Harper's Ferry, or at least stay at Harper's Ferry and camp, but I haven't decided. Look at this. This is a cat. Hey kitty. What is a cat doing over here other than hunting? Hey, we're coming up on historic White's Ferry, finally. Unfortunately, the ferry doesn't operate anymore. Oh, I should have brought more of these. I got my Gatorade. This should be enough to get to Point of Rocks. This part is a little bit different. I've been riding for so long, covered in trees. You can barely see any water now. Look at this beautiful green algae water. I just love seeing turtles sunbathing. So having the weight really high up does matter. You know, if you were to just ride this bike on here without the gear, it would be so much faster. But after a while, it really wears on you. You know, the endurance part, that's difficult. And any weight you have here also balances the wheel out. So you want to have this further down. Weight up front, always a bad idea. But if you can carry more here, I think that would be the ideal thing. And also kickstands. That kickstand and with this weight actually make it very difficult to use the kickstand at all. So you might want to use one of those center stand type of things for these type of trips if you're really into these trips. Another thing is pedals. Clipless pedals are a lifesaver because it is so difficult. These are plastic cheap ones, so a lot of times when the terrain is wet, I'm slipping. But we still have quite a bit to go. I'm probably gonna find a campsite near Point of Rocks because I think I'm pretty beat for today. Nikki Aqueduct. I'm considering staying here at this Kalika Rocks hiker-biker campsite. It's not very scenic, but man, I am tired. And then tomorrow morning, go into Point of Rocks. Whew. At my first campsite, just a few miles from Point of Rocks, I am pretty beat. I mean, I laid down on this bench and I just fell asleep. I did 62 miles today, and with all of that gear, so I'm pretty wore out. So eventually I'm gonna have enough energy to set up the tent. So some of the things I brought, and I'm realizing that I brought some useless stuff. For example, external battery. A little bit redundant, but I needed to charge the GoPro and this, and that's mostly for Strava. And then I have a bunch of tools. I brought 2 bike tools. I should have brought 1. The one thing I should have brought more is food. I brought very little food, and there is kind of like a lack of places where you can buy food, and the places where you can buy food are going to be very expensive on the CNO, so keep that in mind. I'm about to finish setting up the tent for tonight, and I am pretty close to Point of Rocks. Last minute change, guys. I'm going to move from here down there. I found an idyllic camp spot, so I'm going to move everything. This view is so much better. I actually dragged my tent fully set up all the way down here, tearing them up. This is so much better than up there. Yeah, not a bad spot to sleep. Us poor people, we can't afford any waterfront property, but when you're camping, you can afford it. It's just a little sweat equity. Let's see if this water tastes a little bit better. Ugh. Really good campsite. I can't believe I found this. This is so much better than the other one. And these are all free campsites. Whenever you come here, just grab anything. There's very few that you have to pay and reserve.